Good evening and welcome to today's NoorNews Bulletin. Tonight, we lead with escalating tensions in the Red Sea as Yemen's Houthis declare a maritime embargo on Saudi Arabia, and we track the major leadership shift within Hamas. Let's go straight to the latest developments in the Middle East. Yemen's Houthi movement has announced an immediate maritime embargo on Saudi Arabia, citing the ongoing blockade of Yemeni ports and airports as the primary justification for the move. According to the BBC, the group declared that all maritime traffic associated with the Saudi-led coalition will now be restricted, marking a significant escalation in the regional conflict. The Houthis stated that this measure is a direct retaliatory response to the severe restrictions imposed on Yemen's entry points, which have hindered the flow of essential goods and humanitarian aid into the country for years. While the group has previously targeted maritime assets in the Red Sea, this formal declaration of an embargo represents a shift in their stated strategic posture. International observers are closely monitoring the situation, as the announcement threatens to further disrupt shipping lanes and exacerbate tensions in the already volatile maritime corridor. The Saudi-led coalition has yet to issue a comprehensive formal response to the Houthi declaration, though military officials have previously maintained that their own maritime operations are necessary to prevent the smuggling of weapons into Yemen. The implementation of this embargo remains a developing situation, with global shipping authorities assessing the potential impact on regional security and commercial transit routes. Hamas has officially named Khalil al-Hayya as the group's new overall leader, succeeding Yahya Sinwar. According to the BBC, al-Hayya, who has served as the organization's chief negotiator based in Qatar, will now assume the top leadership role following the death of Sinwar, who was killed by Israeli forces in Gaza earlier this year. Al-Hayya has long been a prominent figure within the group's political bureau and has represented Hamas in various high-level ceasefire and hostage negotiations held in Cairo and Doha. His appointment marks a significant shift in the group's leadership structure as it navigates the ongoing conflict. Analysts suggest that by elevating a figure primarily based outside of the Gaza Strip, the organization is attempting to maintain continuity in its external diplomatic efforts while managing the internal fallout from the loss of its previous commander. The transition comes at a critical juncture for the group, as international mediators continue to push for a resolution to the hostilities. While al-Hayya is expected to maintain the group's established ideological stance, his background as a lead negotiator may signal a continued focus on the complex, indirect talks that have defined the group's external engagement throughout the current war. Saudi Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan held high-level talks with India's National Security Advisor, Ajit Doval, in Riyadh on Monday to address deepening bilateral ties and regional stability. According to the Saudi Gazette, the meeting focused on reinforcing the strategic partnership between the two nations, with a particular emphasis on long-term cooperation in key sectors. Central to the discussions were the latest regional developments and the ongoing efforts to bolster energy security. Both officials also prioritized the protection of international maritime routes, reflecting a shared commitment to maintaining stability in critical trade corridors. The dialogue underscores the growing diplomatic alignment between Riyadh and New Delhi as they seek to navigate complex geopolitical challenges in the region. By coordinating on maritime security and energy policy, both countries aim to secure vital supply chains and promote economic resilience. This meeting follows a series of high-level exchanges intended to elevate the bilateral relationship beyond traditional trade, moving toward a more comprehensive security and strategic framework. As both nations continue to assess the evolving security landscape, the discussions in Riyadh highlight the importance of sustained diplomatic engagement in safeguarding regional interests and ensuring the safety of global maritime navigation. 10 people have been killed following a significant intensification of Russian strikes against merchant vessels in the Black Sea. The latest casualties mark a sharp escalation in the ongoing conflict, as maritime infrastructure in the region faces persistent aerial bombardment. According to the BBC, the recent attacks have caused widespread disruption to shipping lanes that are vital for regional trade and global food security. Local authorities in the Odessa region report that the death toll from Russian strikes has reached 28 people for the month of July alone. These figures underscore the mounting human cost of the campaign, which has increasingly targeted port facilities and commercial shipping assets. The strikes have drawn international concern, as the safety of civilian crews and the stability of maritime corridors remain under severe pressure. While Russian officials maintain that these operations are directed at military targets, the impact on merchant shipping continues to draw scrutiny from international observers. As the situation develops, regional officials are calling for increased protection for maritime logistics hubs, warning that the continued targeting of civilian infrastructure poses a significant threat to both local lives and the broader economic stability of the Black Sea region. Ismael Zambada, the notorious co-founder of the Sinaloa cartel, has been sentenced to life in a United States federal prison. The sentencing follows his admission to orchestrating the distribution of vast quantities of narcotics into the country over several decades. In addition to the life term, a federal judge has ordered Zambada to pay $15 billion in forfeiture, a figure representing the estimated proceeds generated by his criminal enterprise. According to reports from the BBC and Al Jazeera, the sentencing marks a significant conclusion to a long-standing pursuit by American authorities, who have long identified Zambada as a central figure in the global illicit drug trade. Prosecutors highlighted the scale of his operations, noting that the Sinaloa cartel's influence under his leadership facilitated the movement of massive shipments of cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine across international borders. Zambada, who had evaded capture for years, was taken into custody earlier this year. The $15 billion penalty is intended to strip the organization of its financial assets, though experts note that collecting such a sum remains a complex legal and logistical challenge. This ruling serves as a major development in the ongoing international effort to dismantle the leadership structures of major Mexican drug cartels. A 13-year-old boy has died following a structural collapse during World Cup celebrations in the Spanish town of Ciudad Rodrigo, located in the province of Salamanca. The incident occurred when a decorative fountain, which had been crowded with fans marking the tournament, partially gave way under the weight of those gathered around it. Emergency services were dispatched to the scene immediately, but despite efforts to provide medical assistance, the teenager was pronounced dead. According to reports from the BBC and Al Jazeera, 2 other young people were also injured during the collapse and were transported to a nearby hospital for treatment. Local authorities have since cordoned off the area to conduct a formal investigation into the integrity of the structure and the circumstances surrounding the gathering. The incident has cast a somber tone over the local festivities, as officials work to determine whether the fountain's structural capacity was compromised by the large number of people climbing on it. Further updates are expected as the investigation proceeds and the condition of the 2 injured individuals is monitored by medical staff. The local municipality has expressed its condolences to the family of the deceased as the community processes the tragic outcome of the celebration. Spain has been crowned champions of the 2026 FIFA World Cup following a hard-fought victory over Argentina in the final. While the tournament concluded with a historic win for the Spanish side, the event has sparked significant debate regarding the future structure and regulations of the competition. According to reports from Al Jazeera and the BBC, the expansion to a 48-team format remains a primary point of contention, with some analysts questioning whether a further increase to 64 teams is viable or if it would dilute the quality of play. Beyond the structural format, the tournament highlighted ongoing concerns regarding player welfare and match integrity. The implementation of mandatory hydration breaks during high-temperature fixtures drew mixed reactions from coaching staff and medical experts alike. Furthermore, the prevalence of what many observers describe as the dark arts, including tactical fouls and time-wasting maneuvers, has reignited calls for stricter officiating protocols. As FIFA begins its post-tournament review, these 5 key takeaways are expected to dominate discussions regarding the evolution of the global game. Stakeholders are now weighing the balance between commercial expansion and the preservation of competitive standards as preparations for the next cycle begin in earnest. Thank you for joining us for this verified report on today's global headlines. We remain committed to bringing you the facts as they unfold. NoorNews, verified before published.